Okay, so that was our basic introduction to the 1022 magazines and how they work in our rifles. Now let's go ahead and take them apart and we'll clean them all up. And we'll go through this in great detail. But first, I hear some sleigh bells outside. What could that be on my roof? Oh, it's Santa Claus bringing us something. Duck down, Santa. So, thank you. What is this, Santa? This is amazing. I appreciate this. What do we have here? What is this? Oh, a bunch of magazines to clean and get ready for the matches. So thank you, Santa Claus. I appreciate you coming by. Okay, see you on the 25th. Don't stay up too late. What a surprise visit by Santa Claus. Who would have ever thunk it, coming by TwoGunTerry and Friends? But first, my intro.
Are you ready?
Okay, so here are a couple of the tools we're going to need to get started. Need a couple of dirty magazines. We need our tandem cross tuning kit. We're going to add a nylon brush to the mix. And then of course, cotton swabs and some gun scrubber. I'm going to use gun scrubber. You can use whatever you want to clean it. Just some sort of degreasing agent. There's a bunch of them, Hoppies number 9 and CLP. There's a bazillion of them, so choose what you want. And then I have a couple of rags. So with that, let's get right into it. Move some of the stuff off to the side for a moment. So I went ahead and selected a couple of different magazines. One is brand new. The other is clear, so you can see what's going on inside. And the third one is well used. One of my competition mags that I've been using for 2 years and never cleaned them. I don't want to say I didn't know I was supposed to take them apart and clean them, but I want to say that they were working great. I wasn't going to touch them unless I had to. I've since found out that that's not really the right way to go about things. These should be maintained on a regular basis. When you clean your guns, maybe every other time or every time clean your mags too. Once you get the hang of it, it's not that hard to take them apart. But there are some steps and I'm going to go through those now. So we'll start with the new one first because it's clean, and I want to show you what a clean one looks like, and then we'll go ahead and take apart a dirty one and you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to start by loosening the screw. It's the side with the where the hex wrench goes into, and I'm going to remove the screw. Now keep in mind that this is under tension. If you don't hold it together, it's going to spring apart, and we don't want that to happen. I will show you before I take it apart that in the center here is the nut. That's the end cap nut the screw is threaded into, is that cap right there. That always gets like wedged and it's not actually part of the housing. But we're going to take this apart first. I'm going to lift up on it gently, and then I'm going to let it untwine in my hands like this, controlling it and taking the tension out of the spring, which is what I just did, and it didn't go flying all over the place like in the last video. We'll take our pieces apart. We're going to leave the rotor spring inside the rotor. What we are going to do though is this nut, the end cap here, we're going to pop that out because it does come out. You can see the hexagon shape, and it will eventually fit back in there like that. But for now we're going to take it out. So we're going to start with the shell. You see this hole right here? That larger hole is where the larger nubby end of this feed lip is going to insert. So I'm going to go ahead and insert these feed lips into that hole. And a little trick here, it doesn't go straight up and down. It's on an angle. And you can see the flat surfaces here. And you want to just get it up against that flat surface and just slide it right in. You'll figure it out. You'll muddle with it a few times and you'll be surprised how quickly you figure that out. Okay, so we're going to put our assist tool from tandem cross in position. we're going to take our rotor with the rotor ring, spring intact and the little nubby of the rotor spring facing up and out towards you. I'm going to take this larger fin. If you notice, one of the fins is much larger than the others. That's because this one is going to hit the feed lips at the end. Once the magazine is empty, this will stop it from removing all the tension out of the spring when it's completely empty. In other words, it just won't go bzzz. As you load and unload, it'll always have the proper amount of tension, and this part here hits against the feed lips to assist in keeping tension there. So we're going to go ahead and slide this down. We're going to take our end cap, make sure with the end cap, as we discussed earlier, that one side makes the hex nut will fit into one side of it, whereas on the other side, it's designed to fit right here on that outer circle will ride inside this circle. So obviously that has to be face down for the circles to line up, and this has to be face up so that the hex nut can do its job. So let's go ahead and put this back together because I knocked it apart a little bit. So now on this side of the magazine, this end cap, there's another little nub right there, and that nub is going to go inside this hole. And again, the nut facing up, yada, yada, yada. So let's see if we can get that into position. There we are. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the spindle tool or the assist tool. And we're going to insert this screw all the way through. And set that down here. And now we're going to put the end cap on. You see right here, that little hole right there? That little hole is going to pick up this little nub in this spring, and then we're going to crank this around a couple of times to apply tension to that spring. What we're about to do is not to tighten the magazine and hold it together yet. It's just to simply apply the right amount of tension. Let's pick it all up here. Okay. How much tension you put on the spring and how tight or how many times you turn this nut is the entire key to whether the magazine is going to operate for you or not correctly. So that is very, very important right here. What we're about to do is very important, so pay attention. We'll do it a couple of times so you get the gist. We're going to turn this end cap nut until we hit on the feed lips with the rotor. That one fin that was a little bit longer than the others, that is now hitting on the rotor. We're turning clockwise. So the fin is bottomed out up against the feed lips. And I'm going to go ahead and mark this side right here as my starting position. That's where I started from. And this is where I want my finishing position to be, is right there, because that is 8 sides of this hex nut. So in other words, we're going to start right here. One time around is 6 sides because it's a hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2 more. 1, 2. So we want to crank this around, go past my mark here one time, all the way back around until I come to it again and stop. And we're going to do that by using this tool from Tandem Cross. This tool is spring-loaded. So as you see, it's spring-loaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the wrench portion to get onto this nut. We're going to crank it the proper number of times. And then once we're there, we're going to we're going to push down on it like that to push this into to push the hex nut into the hex-shaped plastic underneath so that it fits into position. Okay, so I'm still in the correct position there, which is a good thing. I'm still in the correct position here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little mark on here as well, because once I cover this with the wrench, you can't really see it. Let me put it around here so you can see it though. Black on black, not the best idea I ever had, but this is it right here. Here's a half, there's a full, and 2 more right there. And now we're going to go ahead and rotate or push it until it drops into position. Just like that. Just like that. Now there's still a little play here. See that play? At play, we're going to take up with the Allen key on the other side. Go ahead and turn that around a bit, just to snug it up. Right about there is snug. And I'm going to back it off maybe a quarter turn, just like that. And that, I believe, my friends, is a functioning magazine. Let's see. Here's the big test. Here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Strip one off. The other one comes up. Strip it off. The other one comes up. Perfection. Okay, so we've done our nice clean magazine, our brand new magazine, and that's ready to go to our testing phase before we bring it into our match kit. But this one has been in my match kit for 2 years. Let's see what happens, what this looks like inside. So I'm going to start by, you've seen the disassembly process. We're going to go ahead and take this, break this nut, and remove this screw. And remember, these are under, this spring is under tension, so I'm going to lift this out, and I'm going to unwind it safely. I don't want to get hurt. You might want to wear safety glasses for this part. And let's see what's going on inside this guy. So yeah, this is the opposite of a clean magazine. But considering how much we've worked with this thing, it doesn't look that bad. Okay. So, no different than what we just saw. Here's the shell, there's the rotor, there's the end cap screw, here's the end cap, here's the feed lips, and that's the screw that holds it all together. The goal is to make this one look like this one, clean and nice again. Spray these pieces down, get them nice and wet, let them soak for a few minutes, get inside too. Get on the spring here, inside the spring, the nut, the threads inside the nut, this end plate, and the screw itself. I think I'm going to take my wire brush and let's brush around a wee bit here. Put that over here. Oh, that looks a lot better already. Okay. There's a lot of gunk and buildup in here because I just waited too long with this particular mag. Oh yeah, I can feel that coming out actually. Using my fingernail to scrape that out of there. Oh yeah, I feel a lot of buildup there. Oh yeah, I got it out now. Okay, good. So it's not there. Make sure it's not on this side. Okay, good. So the shell is probably, I'd say that's the first place to look for problems and make sure that the shell is nice and clean. This is where all the gunk is going to be housed and stored and cause problems for you. Next, I'm going to go to my feed lips, like so. Okay, so we're just scrubbing away here, cleaning. Just anywhere I see dirt, just working on getting that dirt and grime out. Because dirt and grime can equal stickiness or friction, either or. And anything that interferes with the rotating of this rotor on that shaft is NG. That's not a good thing. So you want to make sure this is all nice and clean. I'm going to take a Q-tip down through the center here. I'm going to put some solvent on here, or degreaser. Put some of that on there and run it through the center, because that's another key point, I would think. Okay, doesn't look that dirty in there actually, but doesn't mean you don't clean it. Now mind you, these magazines were running fine, so that's good news. A little more of this. I think a CLP or a Hoppies would probably be better for this than the gun scrubber. This end plate holds that rotor right inside here, so you want to make sure you get down in there. It is definitely cotton swab worthy. That rotor rides in here. It's held in place right here. So that's one of those key areas that you want to pay attention to. Okay. And we're just going to clean this off here. Okay, so now our parts are nice and clean. We're going to set this off to the side, set this off to the side. And we're going to go ahead and put it back together again. I'm going to take out our tandem cross kit and we'll start to reassemble. So I'm just going to do it a little quicker, but shell, feed lips, nub, goes just like that. Insert our assist tool, rotor, fin at 9 o'clock, slide it over the assist tool. You may have to move the feed lips out of the way, which I just did. Okay, end cap, and facing in the right direction. The round part, the circular part, goes down this direction and lines up on the feed lip nub there. Just like that, nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and remove this guy and insert the screw, just like that. And then we're going to take our friend here, get him started. So I'm spinning this out of position until we get to those feed lips touching the, until we get to the rotor touching the feed lips. And that's where we stop. Okay, that's where we're going to put our mark, which is this guy right here. And we're going to mark it again at 4, over here at 4 o'clock. So that's where we want to end up. And I'm going to take this and get this in the position. This is my start. 1 time all the way around. There's all the way. And I'm coming around to 4 o'clock now, right there. And I'm pushing down on it. And there it is in position. It's a little loose. Now I take the wrench, bring it all the way around until everything snugs up nice. I want to use the same end of the wrench as I used before so I know what it feels like. Okay, so that's snugged up, and I'm going to back it off a quarter. And that should do it right there. Okay, so let's do our test now. Put a couple of rounds in it and see how they come out of here. So I'm also looking for the proper tension on the spring as I'm pushing down. But you can see, working just fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take apart a clear one so you can see what's going on inside of it. So we're going to go ahead and remove the screw for starters. Just like that. We're going to de-wind it without losing control of it. Take it all apart. So these are all the exact same parts as we had in our black magazine. There's no difference other than you can see through the plastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this together kind of quickly. Start by putting the feed lips in place, just like that. We're going to take our assist tool, drop our spindle down, fin at 9 o'clock. Mine, in this case, my 9 o'clock, but at 9 o'clock lined up to the top there. Drop my faceplate on, or my end cap rather on, and the nut side is up, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead now and remove my spindle tool, or my assist tool, and put the real screw in there. I'm going to take our little nut here, find the hole right there, and line it up. By the way, if you notice that the narrower part here, that inserts inside the spring. I don't know if I mentioned that or not earlier. That goes in the spring. And I'm going to put the hole just to the left of this little nub here. That way when I start to crank it back clockwise, it'll insert and pick it up. Because you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the shaft out. We'll put the spindle back in just temporarily, not all the way. Just enough to capture this thing. Ah, there it is. Okay. Maybe that's the way to do it. So I found it a little bit easier just by leaving the assist tool in until I get in the little nub of the spring inserted into the nut. Now I'm going to remove this, take this screw, and put that in here, like so.
And the next thing I want to make sure that happens, I want to make sure that I rotate this until that fin hits, just like so. Okay, so number 1 is right here. I'm going to rotate it all the way around, 1 time clockwise. That will be 6 sides. And I'm going to go 2 more sides down to roughly the 4 o'clock position. That'll give me the proper tension on the spring. So let's do that. And we're going to go ahead and make our first rotations. That's 6 sides, 7 sides, 8 sides right there. I'm going to start pushing down to make sure we get it in place. There it is. Keep it in there. Okay. So we got that in now. It takes a little bit of finagling, by the way. And what's happening is that if you're pushing down on here, you could be pushing out this side, but then if you're pushing that down on the table, it's going to pop this up and it releases it. Try not to touch the table with this end while you're trying to put that together. Now we're just going to go ahead and snug this up to make sure it doesn't come apart on you ever again. There we go. That's all the way to 100%. I'll back it off a 1/4 turn. And that magazine is ready to go. Let's load a couple of rounds so you can see what it looks like. Yep, there's 1. There's 2. And if we did our job right, these are going to come right out nice. Here comes the bolt. Picks up the round. Feeds it into the chamber. Here comes the next. The extractor pulls out the old one. Throws it up against this little nubby right here. Ejects it out of the gun. The bolt's still coming back. Now it's coming forward again because you have those springs in your bolt to force it forward, the recoil springs. Now we're going to get this, and the bolt is going to come through here and pick up the next round. And push it right out just like that. Back into the chamber of the gun. These things are springing off, but they would be going into the chamber of the rifle if the rifle was actually here. And that, my friends, is success. Success. So now we have 3 magazines ready to go put into the test bin and see if they run. The new one, the heavily used one, and the lightly used clear one. So we have the 3 new magazines to test out. They will not go back in my match set of magazines until I know for sure that these things run well, but my initial test felt pretty good. Spring tension felt right. It did its job, so I'm excited to see how that goes. So this is TwoGunTerry's Christmas gift to the YouTubers that stopped by to visit our site. How to tune your 1022 magazines, how to keep them clean, and how to make sure that you win your next match because your equipment did not fail. Couldn't have done it without our friends here at Tandem Cross. So thank you, Tandem Cross, for a nifty little tool here. The truth is that it was a little more difficult to do this, to take them apart and put them back together again than I thought. So I don't want to sell you on a bill of goods thinking that this is so easy. It's going to take a little bit of practice, like anything else, I suppose. But without this kit, it becomes extremely difficult. And it has to be done regularly, so you may as well start learning how to do it right now. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and happy anything it is that makes you happy. That's the truth of it, isn't it? Our whole goal in life is to be happy. So with the 2019 coming to an end, my wish for you, my friends, is to be happy all the time. And if you're not happy, be sure you write TwoGunTerry in the comments section, and I'm here for you, always. Right, Kippy Girl? Say bye-bye. Come here. Kippy Girl's going to say, bye-bye, everyone. Bye, 2019. Now she's going to say, hello, 2020. She's like, leave my paws alone, Daddy. I love you, but don't do that. I love you, but don't do that, my little girl. TwoGunTerry and Chippy signing off for 2019. We'll see you in 2020. Have a happy new year, everyone. Take care. Bye. Okay, we're done. So that's all I have for now. Thank you for stopping by. And remember to like, subscribe, and do what?
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Bankrupt.